Alrighty, guys. So Penn State, they go out there, and now they're swinging for the fences. They go out there and they get Jim Knowles, and Jim Knowles ended up being one of the best hires for Ohio State in, gosh, I don't know how long. And Jim Knowles and Chip Kelly helped the Ohio State Buckeyes win a national championship. I know it's now interesting, several days since this news has been announced, it's kind of come out there from Ohio State people that Jim Knowles was being recruited by Notre Dame. He was being recruited by not by Rutgers. He was being recruited by Notre Dame. He was also being recruited by Oklahoma. And Penn State opened up the checkbook to outduel those programs to get Jim Knowles. And Jim Knowles is somebody that I think could stay at State College and hopefully for a while and hopefully be one of those grizzled, great defensive coordinators. If Cottle Necky, who I think is one of the best offensive coordinators, he took Penn State to a new level. I mean, his run schemes are just so fantastic. All the formations that this team gets to, it looks very complicated to defend, but for the offense, it's simple. Cottle Necky, I can't have any more respect for Andy Cottle Necky than I do. So that hire was brilliant, from Kansas. James Franklin, again, doing it on the big stage, getting a guy like Cottle Necky, it helped that football team. So Penn State, I mean, they lost to Ohio State. I think they go 11-1 in the regular season, which is just bonkers, just a sensational year, beating Minnesota on the road, beating Illinois and Washington at home, having a very, very good Big Ten championship game from an offensive standpoint. And then in the playoff, they got a really good draw. They made the most of it. And this Penn State football team with Drew Aller needs to take the next step, and they need these wide receiver transfers like the kid from Troy. They're going to need him to be a sensational wide receiver, but you still have Singleton. You still have Katron Allen. The tight end position at Penn State is one of these positions that they've nailed for such a long time. And now Jim Knowles is coming into the fold as a brilliant defensive coordinator and as a champion, as probably one of the best coordinators. So now Penn State has overtaken Notre Dame for sure as having the best coordinator duo in the country. And Ohio State's going to have to hire somebody younger. It's going to be a little bit of a reset for Ohio State. Like losing Jim Knowles is a huge, huge deal. I'm stunned at this move, completely and utterly shocked that Jim Knowles, who was at Ohio State with Ryan Day, just won a national championship together with that staff. You have Caleb Downs, who's the best football player maybe in the country, going into his junior year as a safety. I know that you're graduating Sawyer, JTT, I think Simon's also going to be graduating. So you're graduating a lot of the heartbeat of that defense. I think Burke was a cornerback on that defense. However, it's still Ohio State. I'm sure that there's going to be massive amounts of talent, and they've even done a solid job of even replenishing through the transfer portal, even getting some intriguing guys on the defensive line from smaller schools. So why in the heck would you leave a national champion? And also, you look at Ryan Day, and Jeremiah Smith's going to be on Ohio State. Carnell Tate, they still have the best receiving core in the country. They still have five-star quarterbacks. They still have a Julian Sayin at quarterback, again, who I think is all right. I think that Tavion St. Clair is going to actually win that job. Going into next year, I think St. Clair could have a similar career at Ohio State to C.J. Stroud. But Sayin has ability too. Sayin has arm strength. Why wouldn't you stay at Ohio State and chase another championship in Columbus? I mean, it's pretty stunning that he was so unhappy with Larry Johnson that he decided to leave Ohio State to go to Penn State, the biggest rival, not Michigan, but probably the third biggest rival to Ohio State in the same conference, a team that you play every single year, you just went to their rival. Like, that's insane to have a guy go from Ohio State University to Penn State. It's stunning, like when players do it or coaches do it, because this is a huge Big Ten rivalry. So Penn State, I mean, Ohio State's got to be livid, because for Ryan Day, he focuses on the offensive side of the ball, and Jim Knowles is a mastermind as a defensive coordinator. And now Jim Knowles is at Ohio State. And honestly, like Ohio State right now, they're looking at Penn State, and that game I think is going to be in Columbus this year, right? I mean, they should play every year. If they don't, the stupid conference realignment, Penn State should always play freaking Ohio State. And the fact that even Penn State didn't play Michigan this year is disgusting. I mean, college football is all about the rivalries, of course. So that game should be turned up to a freaking 12. That shouldn't be at a 10. Ohio State players should be like freaking pissed. Like, you're making good money. You just won a national championship. It's insane that you're that it was that unhappy, and the friction between Jim Knowles and the unhappiness and willing to leave like days after. I give credit actually to Jim Knowles, and both Jim Knowles and Ohio State and Ryan Day. It is a testament that they kept it under wraps, and that these senior-led players were able to put back the distraction and the dysfunction and the dissatisfaction with the job, and they were able to go to work and try to win. But, you know, just listening to a lot of people that have covered this game for many years at a high level, they have said, you know, about this story that coaching staff disagreement, coaching staff turmoil is a lot more commonplace. It's very, very commonplace in this game. And this is an example of that. And for Penn State now with their running backs, with quarterback Drew Aller, if Drew Aller plays like a second faster in this system, if he has wide receivers that get separation, Drew Aller, has the ability to be a sensational college quarterback, and then he could be a souped-up Jordan Love at the NFL level that can absolutely be one of the better starters in the NFL. You know, that can be Drew. You know, first overall pick, a Pro Bowler, a stud quarterback competing for Super Bowls, one of the top 6 quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, that's what Drew Aller to me is like. That special, that good. He's been that way for a long time. He has the big arms, the big hands, the ability to throw the football from multiple angles, the ability to throw the deep ball, the strongest arms, some really plus mobility, so toolsy. And now Jim Knowles. So Penn State is different. Penn State got so close to a title, so Franklin was selling the boosters on that were really one play away from playing Ohio State, a rival that we only lost to by like a touchdown at home. We could have played them in Atlanta. So, and with all of Ohio State's graduates on defense, with a new defensive coordinator, they are going to take a step back. It looks like Penn State is poised to maybe win actually over Ohio State.